Hey, what's up, y'all? And I'm going to be continuing doing my preview and prediction videos for the 2024 college football season. And up today, we'll be doing the Colorado Buffaloes. And yes, I will be doing this one solo because I don't know any Colorado fans. Uh, but anyway, so yeah, so the fighting Coach Primes. Uh, anyway, now of course, last year in Deion Sanders' first year as the coach. Uh, it was terrible. 4-8, although it was a great season when you look at it compared to 2022, the year before Prime got there, when they were 1-11. So then Dion comes in and was just like, yeah, most of you losers need to get out of here because I'm going to be bringing in my own players. And of course, most of them got the message, and they had like 60 something players hitting the portal and leaving. And then they brought in 60 something new guys from the transfer portal. So, of course, as well as bringing in, his sons, Shador and Shiloh Sanders, and bringing in, Travis Hunter and Xavier Weaver. So, uh, but anyway, so of course they, but let's be honest, most of those, transfers just weren't any good. So, but anyway, so y'all did go 4-8, right? Only 1-8 in the Pac-12. We started out 3-0 with beating like TCU, Nebraska, and Colorado State in overtime, and then of course losing 2 in a row, getting blown out by Oregon, and then losing to USC in a shootout. There's no defense from either team. So, and then beating um, Arizona State, and then losing to Stanford after being up big in that game, being up like 20 something points. Letting Stanford come back and beat you in overtime. And of course, you did end up losing 7 of your last 8 to win to end the season, and you did finish on a 6-game losing streak. So, but anyway, now for this year, yes, you do bring back Shador Sanders. I mean, he did have a pretty good season last year, like 3,200 yards, completed about 70% of his passes, had 27 touchdowns to only 3 interceptions. So he was getting 7.5 yards per attempt. That's not very good. And then sacked 52 times. Yeah, offensive line was garbage. So you got to think. I mean, if he had, you, better protection, he could have had even better numbers. So, but anyway, and then as for your and I guess bring back Ryan Staub was the backup quarterback last year. So I guess he's still gonna be the backup this year. So, and then as for your running backs, well, let's see, you do lose your top four rushers hit the portal, including Dylan Edwards and Anthony Hankerson. But I mean, they each only had like 300, like get just over 300 yards. I mean, couple of touchdowns between the two of them. So yeah, your running game was just horrible. Well, I mean, what running game? You didn't have any. Like 70, you had like 69 rush yards per game. Yeah, that was terrible. And then anyway, but you did bring in some new running backs in the transfer portal. You did get Isaiah Gustav from Arkansas and Dallin Hayden from Ohio State. So anyway, so then your wide receivers, yes, you did. Yes, you do lose your leading receiver from last year, Xavier Weaver, to the NFL. He did get drafted by the Cardinals, and he had almost 1,000 receiving yards last year. So, but you do bring back Travis Hunter. Yeah, you're a wide receiver slash cornerback. I guess the plan is for him to play both ways again. So he had like 700 and something yards. And then you do bring back Jimmy Horn Jr., who had 500 and something receiving yards last year. So, and then of course remember that that Travis Hunter got hurt in the in the middle of the season, had to sit out a few games, or he could have had had even more yards. He could have gone over 1,000. If not for those, like, was it 4 games that he missed in the middle of the season? So with the lacerated liver, so from the Colorado State game. But anyway, and then y'all did bring in Will Shepherd, the leading wide receiver at Vanderbilt last year, and I know that it's Vandy, but I mean Will Shepherd was putting up good numbers against SEC defenses. So but anyway, so I guess he can replace Xavier Weaver. But anyway, so then offensively, you did have like 28 points per game. Yeah, that's not very good. and also about 350 or 300, about 360 um, y- y- yards per game. So yes, yes. So now and y'all are, also making an effort to beef up the uh, uh, the the uh, uh, the offensive line through the portal. Bringing in some bigger guys. So, but anyway, so yeah. So let's look at the defense. Yes, they do bring back your your top tackler returns in linebacker Levante Bentley, and also you do bring back safety Shiloh Sanders, uh, and then you also bring back a white guy at safety, Trevor Woods. So, but you do lose another one of your one of your outside linebackers, Jordan Dominic, who had 5 sacks last year, but he's run out of eligibility. Last year was his 6th year. So, and then you'd also lose a starting cornerback, um, O'Marion uh, Cooper. Yeah. O'Marion Cooper. But of course, you do bring back your other starting cornerback, Travis Hunter, who I guess is going to be playing both ways again this year. Yeah, that dude is just an absolute beast. So, but anyway, yes, and Cormani McLean also hit the portal. Of course, he was a 5-star recruit as a freshman last year, but he didn't even start, and now he's transferred to Florida. So, but anyway, and the and then last year your defense overall was garbage, like 453 yards per game allowed, like 35 points per game. Yeah, just terrible. That's even worse than Southern Cal's defense. So, but anyway, yes, y'all need to do better. But anyway, so yeah, so I think I might have mentioned the portal already, but yeah, you lost 41 players through the portal. You bring in 42 from the portal. As for your freshman recruiting class, well, you only signed 13, and you had the 81st ranked freshman class. So Dion does not like to recruit. He said it himself. He just wants to do all of his recruiting out of the transfer portal. Run off 40 or 50 players. Bring in 40 or 50 players. If you do that, every year, but I mean, it doesn't seem like that's, sustainable. It seems like that's not the way to build a program. You've got, such high, roster turnover. So, but anyway, and then of course, some of the players are, leaving. Well, well, because they're not starting, because they're backups. But then some of them are just leaving, because Colorado is horrible. So, uh, uh, anyway, they want to play on a good team, play for a real coach. So, uh, but anyway, so now how about we just go ahead and move on to Colorado's schedule. So anyway, so up first you do start out with North Dakota State. Of course, North Dakota State, is like the Alabama in the FCS. They've won several national titles at the FCS level over the last 10, 15 years. So, but anyway, so yes, that's who you got to play, and you're only like an 8.5 point favorite. But I mean, I am going to give you the benefit of the doubt, and 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 say that she'll beat N- N- North Dakota State. So anyway, and then next up you are at Nebraska. Of course, you played Nebraska at home last year, so you got your home and home with Nebraska. Anyway, guess now I do think that Nebraska is going to be better this year. I I mean, year two with Matt Rule. You remember what he did at Baylor, how he built that program up. And then plus, Nebraska does bring in Dylan Raiola, who was like the number one quarterback. So I mean, I think he's going to be good for a couple more wins. So it's going to be a big upgrade over Jeff Sims whoever the other quarterback was at Nebraska. So yeah, I think that one's going to be a loss. And then up next, you're at Colorado State. Now this was a great game. Yeah, when you played Colorado State last year, you did beat them in double overtime. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt, and say that you beat Colorado State again. And I mean, I don't think it'll even be as close as it was last year. So, but anyway, so that puts you at what, 2-1. Anyway, so the next up, you do come back home to play Baylor, and now Baylor was terrible last year. They were 3-9. I mean, you do get them at home, so I mean, I think that she'll beat Baylor. So now you're at what, 3-1. So, and now this is when your schedule starts to get tough. Of course, you do have to travel to UCF, and yeah, I think you're gonna get ran. And yeah, I think that the Gus Bus is gonna run you over. So yeah, that's a loss. And then that takes you into your first bye week. Everyone gets 2 bye weeks this year, so but anyway, and then you come out of that, you play Kansas State. Yeah, and I mean, yeah, that's a loss. I think that it was named Chris Kleiman and Kansas State. Yeah, they do have a pretty good program. Very stable program, unlike Colorado. So yeah, I think that's a loss. And then next year, at Arizona State. Now they were pretty good last year. They won 10 games, and they got that quarterback from last year coming back. Yeah. Even though their coach Jeff Fisk left, they do bring back that quarterback. What's his name? Fifita or something. Fajita. Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, but he's really good. So, yeah, I think that's gonna be a loss at Arizona. And then up next, you do play Cincinnati, and now Cincinnati was terrible last year in their first year in the Big Ten. They went like 3-9. So yeah, I think y'all can beat them. So I will give you a win against Cincinnati, and then that takes you in your second bye. Come out of that, you do play at Texas Tech. Yeah, I think that's a loss. Texas Tech does seem to be a program on the rise. I mean, they just signed the best recruiting class in the Big 12. So yeah, I'm gonna say that's a loss. And then next, after that, what happened? Yes, you do play Utah. Now I do think that Utah is gonna be better this year. Think that they're gonna have their quarterback Cam Rising coming back, who sat out all of last year with an injury. So yeah, I think you'll lose to Utah. And then after that, you're at Kansas, and I mean, in recent years, I would have said that this should be an automatic win. But I mean, this is not. But I mean, this is a new Kansas team that we've seen the last 2 years. So I think that's going to be a loss. And the next, you've got Oklahoma State, and that's a loss. Ollie Gordon is gonna run all over you. He'll probably go over 200 yards in this game. So anyway, so that brings your record out to 4-8 and 2-7 in the Big 12. So, but anyway, so let me know what y'all think in the comments below. Put down your record prediction for Colorado. And thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all again next time.